wanted to talk a little bit more about the Pope's visit.
Well, before we get into that, Ron.
Yes.
Before we get into that, I gave them a little information about the October the 4th, what you're giving.
Yes.
The follow-up.
Okay.
And so that is going to be from 9 to 1 p.m., and you are going to be, it's going to be at 18846 West 7 Mile. That's Detroit. And also they can call you at 313-656-7283 if they want some more information. But you're going to be answering any questions if they're having any problems, the things that Jonah Bay went over. For instance, you're going to be talking about the birth certificate, I keep messing up on that word, but
almost said authenticity.
I know, I can say it sometimes I can't.
Hey, all right, here we go. Authenticity. All thin.
Okay.
Authenticity. There you go. All right. Yep, we're going to deal with that. Go ahead.
And you're going to be talking about the discharge. You're going to be talking to how and where to do your birth certificate to get it authenticated. And you also is going to be talking about discharges, the Constitution, 1908, and you're going to be talking about injunctions, the how-to do the injunctions. So you're going to go step by step on how the process works. And like we say, it's going to be Sunday, this Sunday, October the 4th at 9 a.m. And the donation is $20 live, and if you're going to look at it on pay-per-view, it's $25.
Okay. There you go here. We're trying to plug in some stuff and it ain't going to work.
Okay, so while you're doing that, I also want to tell the people that if anybody is in the Chicago area and they can get in contact with Robert X or his family, could you please get in contact and let me know? I have been trying to contact him and have not heard anything. I want to make sure that everything is okay. You can email me at beverly2440@hotmail.com if you get any information on Brother Robert X. Okay, Ron.
Yep. All right. I have a phone number that I was going to get to you, Bev, and I'll text it to you. And, brother, that's where I got the information out of Texas. So maybe on when we take our break, you could possibly give him a call and see if he would give you some of that info. But I'd have to locate that.
Right, before I say anything, I want to make sure that we got the right information.
Right on. Okay. All right. Now, the website, my website has all the information. I checked it out before I left home. Bev, if you go to my site, ronmarch.com.
I'm on there.
Okay. And then you look on the right-hand side where it says, the second paragraph on the right-hand side says follow-up to the Freedom Seminar is coming up. October 4th.
No, I'm on the bulletin board event. Is that where it's at?
Well, go to the homepage first.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So if I talk you through it, that'll let everyone else know. You go to the homepage, look to the right under the that train, that picture of a steam engine or train engine.
Okay.
And the second paragraph says follow up to Freedom Seminar is coming up. October 4th. Get your tickets here. Get your tickets, click here or here. You got two places you can click. And I think you got three, but we're going to do two places. So go to either one. Go to the first one first, and it will take you in my site right to. I just clicked it, and it should take me to the information. There we go, and that's where you were. You were at the bulletin board events, and it tells you that the follow-up seminar. Are you with me?
My computer is doing what it wants to do.
Okay. It says we are holding a follow-up seminar. Now he's got that date. He's got the 8th. Well, at the top it says join us October 4th.
Right.
And we're gonna call him right now, and in the body of it starts out with October the 18th. Well, that boy can get them numbers mixed up, can't he? Do you see
That's your engineered.
Yeah, that's my engineered. Yep. He may be I'm looking over here. He hasn't called in yet. So we'll get him today to change that. So it says we are holding a follow-up seminar October the 4th. We'll read the 4th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It should be 12 o'clock. What is wrong with that boy?
But that's, we probably go.
Yeah, I'll get him. Let's see. We're going to review and help everyone who may have questions or stuck on their process. Excuse me. We will be going over the following topics: authentication of birth certificates, how and where to do it, the discharge of debt, the Constitution, and the injunction, the how-tos. The fee, the donation for the seminar or the meeting will be $20, and we're calling that the building fund. We got to start paying our debts. And if you want to look at it on pay-per-view, it's $25, pay-per-view. And you can purchase the tickets once again at that location, or you can drop down and tap. If you move it up, you can tap buy tickets. You see that, Bev? Are you still with me, or have you caught up?
Yeah, I'm still with you. Buy tickets. Okay. Yeah, yep. I see that. Buy tickets.
And you just tap that for now, and there you go. You can get the quantity, the amount, and the total, and then it'll say next. It shall take you to the information to get it, and then you're going to print it out once you get all the info. There you have the location of the Unique Studios, 18846 West 7 Mile Road. Are you still with me?
I'm with you. We hear you.
Okay. You didn't tell me that yours came in. I didn't know you were waiting. I was waiting on you. And it says they're holding it from 9 to 1, and it'll probably be 1 o'clock because we'll probably go over. There's no ifs and buts about it. So that's what we got, and we hope we can, stay on it. When I say stay on it, I want the group to stay together. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to make sure that we stay together and we work with ourselves to resolve our problems or situations. So that's what that's all about. Now, we know about the birth certificate. We done went through that a lot of times. But, again, if there's any questions on your end, Beth, excuse me. If there's any questions on your end, we will stop and we'll take care of those questions today so that they can better, present themselves come Sunday.
Okay.
You dig? So that would be on target. And other than that, I can't think of anything else. The discharge, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to do, Betty Taylor will do the discharge of debt. And then the Constitution, I'm going to do the Michigan Constitution of 1908. And I'll explain what I mean by the Michigan Constitution, because our rights, we're in the state of Michigan. So we got to mold our injunction to reflect the rules and regulations of the state. And you want to pick a date of a constitution that would be prior to 1935. Now, the reason for that is when they set this madness up out of the New Deal, among all of the other fraudulent activity they did, they had the bar and the American bar and the British bar. They all agreed that they would not entertain any court cases prior to 1935. So you know that your victory is going to be highly confusing, or better yet, highly difficult if you start using some modern day constitutions. Now, let me say right now, which I will repeat Sunday, the contracts that were set up were everyone has passed that signed the original Constitution of Michigan. And since it was a contract with the state, it can never be changed. That's the problem that Washington, D.C. has today, that they cannot change the Constitution, the original Constitution of 1789. They can't change it. Now, they can modify it, they can legalize it, they can LexisNexis, they can codify it, they can do all kinds of shenanigans. And the more shenanigans they perform, the more difficult it is to find what you're looking for. And I like what Jonah Bay told me when I first met with him. He said all constitutions agreements have been municipalized. I said, what the hell is that? He said they've all been modified to fit the municipalities where you are. So that's why it's so difficult to find certain things, and it's in there, but you got to know how to find it, or better yet, you got to know what you're looking for, which is a very important concern with your injunction, because everyone's injunction should be modified for their specific way of life.
So we have to become like Sherlock Holmes.
Well, let me tell you why it's important to get those constitutions prior to. Number one, this is the main reason. We have been here all the time. Our government was set up all the time. The European came in and asked to be a part of our government. That's why we gave them a constitution. So you don't have to be a Sherlock Holmes on the earlier constitutions, because they were made all in your favor.
Gotcha.
You dig?
So basically, we let a guest in the house, and they were supposed to just stay the weekend, and they end up taking over the house.
This is true. That's a good way of putting it, and I will agree with that. Yes, okay. Yes. And they made it clear to us through lies and misrepresentations that what they were doing was best for us. And we in other words, I want to add to your analysis that we let them do that. We got a good heart, and we always want to help somebody. Always want to get involved and do something. And that's been the downfall, if you want to call it a downfall. That's been one of the holdbacks of our freedom, because everyone that we have helped has taken advantage of us.
Gotcha.
You can imagine how we were before the European was ever on earth. Meaning, we had love for one another, but we also had crooks among us. And there's probably a better word than crooks. Con men and laziness. And we're talking about thousands of years of living on the good foot. And you become lazy and complacent.
Mm-hmm.
And you start taking things for granted. And by doing that, you begin to figure out ways where you can be better in what you're doing. And I'm telling you from my experiences, you can be better if you take from some other one. You don't have to do any work. Just wait till the other person does it, and then take it from them. Take it away.
Mm-hmm.
So through years of that type of living, and it's all been good, and it's all been bad, the Creator, and I was told, and I believe, saw fit to put the European here to keep us from killing and destroying each other. That's kind of hard for a lot of people to take, but I believe that, and I was taught that. So he gave them divine chastisement. Divine chastisement. All you got to do is look. If it wasn't for the police, now they ain't worth a damn. Don't get me wrong. Don't start talking about Ron Love police. Hell with them. Because they're all corrupt at this point. And they're here on an illegal ticket. However, their presence has prevented us from killing each other more than we do. We've always fought each other. We've always done that. That's why the European he talks about it. When you corner him, he'll bring it up. Well, you black folks kill more blackies than white cops kill in a year. You do it on a weekend. And we don't have any rebuttal because we don't know who we are. And they'll do that. And those Europeans with those in the secret orders, they know that to be a fact. So they will throw that at you. Those fraternal orders. Especially the police department. They know that. And they'll tell you in a minute, oh, yeah, well, the cops killed last year, they only killed 10 blackies. 1 weekend alone, y'all killed 20. So what the hell are you crying about? And then like idiots, you stand there, you don't know what to say. So anyway, I'm going to deal with the Constitution, and I decided to use 1908. At the seminar, Jonah used 1835. And as I looked at that and then looked at this one, which is 1908, I chose to use 1908. Now, it's the same things in all of them. Don't hear me clear. But I could pick out. I knew more. I could pick out what was needed for Ron March, and I'll show you how to do that for yourself. Take it out of the Constitution and be sure and use it in your injunction, because you don't want to be tampered with. Just like a lady, when a female, a married woman, a spouse, she gets an injunction on her husband. She knows what he does, and she tells the police, and they will form that injunction or make it fit for her. It won't fit for everyone, but it will fit for her, because they'll tell her. For example, she has to go to work every morning, and he has the car. Well, that injunction says you're gonna get up, bring your sorry butt over there. You don't have to talk to her, and you better not touch her. But you're gonna take her to work every morning until you get her a car, until she get her car fixed, something like that.
Right.
And if you don't do it, your butt's going to jail. So that was tailored for her and him. That would not be tailored for me or you, Bev, because we may not be in that condition.
Right.
You dig? So that's all I wanted to say about that Constitution. But you want to remember, all the way up to 1857, we, Black American, indigenous ones, ancient ones. We own and control the Americas. The European took over due to the wars that were going on. And once the wars were, I won't say over, but once there was settlement with the wars, the Europeans started another war, and from there he began to build his empire. And that's what we're in today. An illegal empire built by the Europeans, the invaders.
Mm-hmm.
You dig it?
Yeah.
And speaking of invaders, we can segue into today's presentation, and that would be on the Pope. On the Pope, and what did it mean for him to come in to the Americas this past week? I've asked several people, and the majority of their answer is, the hell with him, we don't care. He ain't worth a damn anyway. All that negative stuff, which is okay, ain't no big deal, because they truly have a record of nothing but crime and corruption. But then, like they say, when are you gonna get over it? There's nothing you can do about it, and you got to live. So when are you going to get over it and be able to live your life in luxury, if you will? You don't have to follow me on that, but live a better life. Have some self-determination. Set up a nation. You dig? When will you be able to do something like that? Okay. And now they look at me when I ask those questions, and they don't really know. They don't think about it. And I will say this personally, that I was listening to the Pope, and he had to walk a very tight line, because number one, he's a crook. He's a pedophile. What they call him, he's a pedophile.
Pedophile, yeah.
Yes. And number three, he's been charged by World Court for crimes that he has committed, from drugs to white slavery to pedophile activity. So we all understand that. But what I understand also is he owns, or better yet, he controls the largest religious organization in the world. And I don't care what you say about it, it has to be recognized. You have to recognize that fact, that he owns and controls. What he says really goes. Now, I know from my teachings that the entire process of religion is on its way out. Or better yet, it's already out. They just haven't laid down the books. You dig? Religion is going to be out. Now, if you understand what I said, your creator would never go out. But religion is a man-made institution. And it has a track record of nothing but crime and corruption. The latest one, which would be the Roman Empire that's still in power, is definitely crime and corruption. So you got to broaden. I would think you would want to broaden your horizons and look at it from a broader view, because you're not going to, by being vindictive, angry, upset, is not going to get you anywhere. And this thing that we're in, go ahead, Beth.
So he was basically a CEO of one corporation that came to meet with the other CEOs or powers to be in another corporation. And didn't he meet with Congress? and not the president? And you told us that Congress was ours.
No, say it right. He met with the president publicly and privately, and he met with Congress. Now, they say there was some private meetings, but I don't know about them. They came out with a new private meeting today when they said that Kim Davis down in Kentucky, the Register of Deeds lady that refused to give out license, she claimed she had a private session with him. She may have, I don't know. But I, we know what we only know what they tell us. And I can tell you that they said that Obama met with him publicly. I saw it, and then I saw them go into a private session, and that was it. Congress, he came in Congress. All of that was anew. Never had a pope ever went to Congress and told them that there was a bunch of crooks. He basically said that in his presentation. But he did it in a very professional way.
But how is he going to call crooks and he a crook too?
Well, you got to ask him that. I can't answer that question. I can only tell you what I saw.
Okay.
You did? I don't know. But I know what I saw and I know what I heard. And then there's a lot of writing. There's a lot of documents out. And I have copies of some of these documents that are very, very interesting. And when I put it into my perspective, I get one thing out of it. And when I tell people of it, they get a different view of what's really going on. Like you remember the phone calls we got probably 4 months ago, when that brother kept calling in talking about Jade Helm.
Right.
And I told him I ain't ever heard of it, and he was talking, and I said, brother, and then finally I told him, I said, well, I'll do some research, and we may get back to you. And I did do some research and found out what he was talking about. But since the Pope has been here, I've learned much, much, much more. Okay. And that is, I've been led to believe, hear me clear now, I've been led to believe that Jade Helm belongs to the Roman Catholic Church. And they have been set up by the Roman Curia, which is the Supreme Court of the Vatican. And their job is to preserve peace and, what can I say, make sure, now this is very important to everybody, and to make sure that all contracts are carried out as it was written. Now, I guess that's what I say. Now, that's where we come in. Go ahead.
Now, for some people who don't know what Jade Helm is, can you just give us a brief synopsis of what that is or what they're talking about?
Well, Jade Helm is a private army known as G.A.R, G.A.R, which stands for Grand Army of the Republic. Grand Army of the Republic. And Jade Helm, I've been led to believe, I got to get more info on this, but I think Jade Helm is a machine. It's a computerized machine that was used in some southern states, and well, they've been all over the country. And what they do with that machine, they ride down the street, they turn the machine on, ride down the street, and the machine can detect munition stashes. It can detect a lot of rifles, machine guns, hand grenades, you name it. If it's a stockpile, that machine will detect it. And once the machine detects it, they will send troops in and take the stuff away from the people. Now that's what I wouldn't say young, I didn't know, but that's what that brother was talking about when he said they was kicking in doors and taking stuff out of people's houses.
Right.
Now that's what and when I got involved in it, that's what I learned from reading. And remember now, I ain't got no inside track. I don't belong to none of this stuff. I'm looking and reading and researching like everybody else. But when I put my piece together, it makes sense. It's logical. It doesn't make it right, but it's logical. Because if you look at it from that perspective, you will understand these documents that are floating around, because that organization known as I got it right here. The United Maine as the state of Maine. I don't know why that's Maine. The United Maine Common Law Grand Jury. The Unified, not United. The Unified Maine, M-A-I-N-E, Common Law Jury, Grand Jury, is putting out these documents. And they're sending them legally now. All of this, these are contracts. And y'all got to see, if you don't know about contracts, you got a problem. Every communication that you make on this earth today is a contract, up to and including talking to your wife. It's a contract. There's an offer, there's an acceptance, and then there's consideration. Now, the law says if you put it in writing and get it notarized, you can send it to an individual, and he has 3 notices to answer in a timely manner. If he does not answer, it becomes law. Did you get that, Beth?
Yeah.
That's known as administrative remedy. I know nobody's ever looked it up. I told y'all to look up administrative remedy. I've been dealing with it for a long time, and I've always known the power of it. But the problem has been the crooks, the lawyers, the judges, the prosecutors, the police department. They ignore it. And we never knew what was the final step in order to make them comply with the contract.
Mm-hmm.
The dunning letter that you get in foreclosure is a process of administrative remedy. Because they use that letter by law to sell your house. If you don't comply within 30 days, they'll sell your house in a sheriff's sale. Now, I'm not saying it's legal. It's definitely not lawful. And I don't even consider it to be legal. But they are using that. And this is what Jade Helm, the Pope, the Roman Curie, and this Unified Maine Common Law Grand Jury, that's what they're all about. They're saying that you're going to adhere to every contract. And it's very interesting what they have written, because it deals with exactly what we, Black Americans, been screaming all the time. Unfair presentation, not getting proper presentation. That's number one. Number two, invaders coming into your land and taking your land. They came in on a contract. The contract said nothing about us going to jail. Everything that's happened to us is against the contract of the Constitution. That's why they didn't want to teach you the Constitution. And this new wave of militancy, let's call it that, the new wave of militancy is dealing directly with it, and they got military to back it up. It's kind of scary. Mm-hmm. It's almost like Army for us. But now there's a catch. Don't get me wrong, baby. There is a humongous catch. Huge. And it's going to affect every black in America. And that is what you've been guilty of all the time. You just low down, dirty, don't want to read, always want something for granted, taking something for granted. It's not going to help you. You're going to be in big trouble with this coming in. You're going to be so down low on the totem pole that you may be picking cotton again. I don't know. We don't know what freedom is, so how can we stand up and ask to be free? We have been born into slavery, and I said it clear. We were born into slavery, so how the hell you know what freedom is? You never had it. You don't even know where to go to find it. Yeah, unbelievable. And one of the biggest...
what we're trying to do is, what your teaching and other people teaching, that's what it's doing, trying to get us free.
Okay. But let me tell you this. You can listen, you can read, you can research, but to be free is a uno donos, or whatever they call it. You got to get up on your own and stand up.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You know, you can sit back and talk smack all day, but when it comes time to standing up for freedom, I told you some of the tales when I was in drum, Dodge, Maine, back in the 60s. We would go on strike. As soon as we get ready to go outside, we started walking. There's hundreds of us. When we get outside, we got 25. What the hell happened to them? Oh, I had to go to the bathroom. I had a wife call me. I had that phone call. All kind of crap. You dig? And if it was successful, everybody walked out. When I left Dodge, Maine, and run into people and they knew me, all around, you were cool. If I'd have had half of those people to be with me when I did my stuff, or with us, not me, us, we'd have shut that place down a long time ago. Them Negroes ain't did a damn thing. We even had to break down in the categories when we took a strike, who was going to strike. Because we told the older people with 15 years or 10 years or more, we don't want y'all to walk out. We had figured it out that the young cats that only had 2 and 3 years seniority didn't have nothing to lose, didn't have a wife and family. You dig? They were the ones that could walk out and shut the plant down. They couldn't get it to work. And boy, when we did that, that really blew their mind. Where are these Negroes getting this stuff from? They even tried to make it look like they was working until they found out, and we did that. And that is, if you come in and punch in, you're guaranteed 4 hours work. I don't give a damn what they say. But they couldn't pay all the people because they wasn't building any cars because there wasn't enough people to build the cars. So they was telling the people to go out the back door, go out on the Shane side over there on the back, Conant, on the back side of Hamtramck over there. And then when we saw them coming back around to get their cars on the Joseph Capo side, where the hell y'all coming from? He said they put us out the back door. Oh. So we knew our strategy worked. So that's my point. That's all I'm saying. You sooner or later you're going to have to stand up. And the more knowledge you have, the less fearful you will be. Everybody's scared. Don't get me wrong. Ain't nobody no tough guy gonna go out there and do this. But once you figure out, understand, read your rights, you got to make a commitment. I'm going to stand up for my rights, which means you're going to get some conflict. And due to, I don't know, ignorance, I don't know. Everybody punks out. Not everybody. Most people punk out at the last minute. They got their own little ways of doing it, but they'll punk out. And I understand it because I've been through it. So you don't bother me. I know what freedom is, and I know how to get it. And I know when to stand up, and I know when to punk out and back off, because the time ain't right. But all of this got to be learned and got to be taught. I had a phone call today, a brother called. He was asking all kind of crazy questions. He was so sincere. He didn't know what a straw man was. I said, why the hell are you calling me? He didn't know what a straw man was. He knew his mail came in all capital letters, but that's all he knew. He didn't know he didn't know why they did it, how they did it, and how to free yourself. I said, you should have called and asked me, Ron, I need some information on being sovereign or being free. I want to know how to get free. That would have saved us 20 minutes of bull BS listening to your crap, trying to make me think you know something. And I'm listening to you sound like an idiot to me. But I know you don't know what you're doing.
Now, Ron, this Jade Helm,
yes.
15. Now,
yes.
You say that. Where is in that G.A.R. now? Who are they coming from? The Pope Corporation or these? I mean, where are they coming from again?
They are retired military Americans who wants, and we could just say they more or less, let me just say it loosely. Maybe I shouldn't say it because somebody will take it wrong. But you have groups out there that are freedom groups. There's a lot of them. And them white groups are more populated than anything we got as black folks. The news media and the system has always tried to make us think that they were Ku Klux Klan and they were right-wingers. You dig? That's just like the Tea Party. You bring up the Tea Party to a blackie, first thing come out of his mouth, them Peckerwoods, blah, blah, blah. And I said, what do you know about them? You don't know nothing. I said, well, how can you say all that? Well, the news said that they did. Oh, please, get away. You're wasting my time. Their goal is just like your goal. They're getting strangled just like you're getting strangled. Now, I will grant you, and hear me clear, they're known as title sovereigns, which means they only want to go back to George Washington. They don't want to go back to John Hanson or I can't call the name. Let's throw it out there. Dred Scott. Oh no, Dred Scott was on this side. They want to go on the other side. That chief of Pocahontas' grandfathers and that. They don't want to go there because they know they wasn't invited. They wasn't supposed to be here. Okay, and that's what they believe. Okay, ain't nothing you gonna do about it. I can tell you that now, because they feel like they own this land just like everybody else. Okay, but they don't have all the truth. Now you can be angry at them and be, whatever. But they are out there fighting and trying to do what's right. Now, I haven't seen any of the troops that I'm talking about. The Jade Helm, like I said, is a machine. So we ain't talking about Jade Helm. I'm talking about the G.A.R, G.A.R, and that's what I think you're talking about. They already have a commander-in-chief. He was already appointed by the Pope or by the Roman Curie. His last name is Helm, not Helm, Ham, H-A-M-E. I think it's what it is. You dig? And he has already set up his regime, if you will. And he's backing up. He's making deliveries. He's backing up that mail that this unified main common law. I have no idea who they are, but that's what they put this stuff out. And they're almost related to, or at least the concept of Nasara. We talked about that a little bit.
Right.
Yep. Let me see if I can spell that. N-E-R-S-A-R-A. Sorry. Yep. And all of that stands for something. National Economic Review or whatever. Reformation System. It all stands for something. And they put it on.
So let me see if I understand. So the Jade Helm 15 is more of they're on the corporation side, and they're going to be fighting the G.A.R.
No.
No?
No.
I got it mixed up. Well, why are they saying that with Jade Helm 15, all it's doing is creating a police state?
I might have got myself into this. The way I understand it is Helm and G.A.R. are the same thing. They come under the same operation.
Okay.
And they both belong to the Pope.
Okay.
Now, the right-wingers and the corporations are putting out information that is erroneous. I won't even go into what it is, but let's just call it erroneous. Just to stir up the same way they did before, when those whiteys went out, what were they called? When they was living on the land, back when Randy Weaver was killed.
Militia.
Yeah. See, the news media started coming out with black pop-up targets. They were shooting black people. I don't want to act like I know everything, but I'm just saying you got to be able to cipher through most of the propaganda. Now, I may not be correct, but what I'm going on is what my gut tells me that from what I've learned is correct. Now, I could easily be wrong, and I'll be the first to admit it. But all that kind of talk that you just said is what they always do to confuse, make you back off, and put fear back in you. You dig? Because it's ironic that if all of this is going on, as you say, why hasn't Obama said something about it? Not good, not bad. Why has he not even mentioned it? It don't make sense. And I think it's going on because he don't know what to say, because he has to stay with the corporations. Corporations know that it's over with, but they don't want to give up. Okay? So now, how are you going to tell Obama to start fighting a civil war in the United States? That's what it's going to have to be. Now, how can they deal with ISIS? How can they deal with Russia? How can they deal with Iran if they got a civil war going on in the United States?
All right.
I hope we get some calls in on this. And I'd love to be challenged because I don't feel comfortable like I know everything. And I'm saying it again, I don't know everything. I'm just putting together what makes me feel comfortable. Makes me understand what I'm looking at. I see what I see. And I know, I'll tell you, go ahead.
So you saying that when the Pope came here, it was like a conflict going on between him and the other corporation, the U.S. corporation, or was they coming together like the mob bosses come together and they coming up with a plan?
All right, let me read this one paragraph, maybe, and then I'll answer your question.
Okay.
The Roman Curia created the concept of legal fiction. Now, what does that say to you? Now, we know what the Roman Curia is. That is the Supreme Court of the Vatican. And we know the Vatican rules, or is the God on earth, of over 2 billion people. You got it?
Yeah.
So now the first part of the first sentence says, the Roman Curia created the concept of legal fiction. What is legal fiction, Beverly?
That's the color of law.
No.
Well, fiction is not truth.
So you got that right. You're totally correct. I see. I got Betty Taylor's coming in here.
Okay.
You're right. So let me just say to you that legal fiction is corporations. Legal fictions, trust, foundations, and other corporations for good reason. They created them for a good reason, so this article says. And they were created, I saw somewhere, back in 1223. That's when they started the concept of the creation of, and they call it that in the first part. The Roman Curia created the concept of legal fiction. And they tell you what it is. Trust, foundations, and other corporations for good reasons. However, legal fiction can be misused. Now that sentence itself answers the question that you asked.
Mm-hmm.
It's become corrupt. Now, you can take that any way you want. They set it up for a good reason, so they say. But now, with all the crooks and all the con men and mafia and whatever else is out there, drug dealers and everything, graft and corruption, it's become a legal mafia machine, or a legal gangster machine. By maximums of law, which means by common law. Those who create are responsible for their creation. Now that you can't get any clear. Well, it's clear to me. So in other words,
right.
This article is saying, coming from the main, what do I call them? The unified main common law grand jury, is telling the Pope and his thugs, y'all started this madness. And since you created it, you're responsible for it. So the whole earth is being strangled today by corporations. IMF, World Bank, and the owners of it is the Pope. He owns all corporations. He created it. It don't get any clearer than that. I had an article on the three, what they call them, the Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. They were mocking it by saying the Trinity of control of the earth is the Vatican, the city of London, and Washington, D.C. They control the earth. And of those three, the Pope is the most powerful because he's got more people, he's got more money, and he owns all corporations. Mm-hmm. And he can dictate to the city of London, because I understand the Queen can't go in there unless she got her credentials on. The city of London sits right in the city of London, and you're not allowed to go in there. Now, put that in your pipe and smoke it for a minute. And remember, each one of those entities are corporations. I read an article before this morning that was talking about that guy, Rod Class. It's supposed to be a genius on sovereignty. And they put his butt in jail. And this group said they should have put his ass in jail because he went to Washington, D.C. and started dictating to them what they should do and shouldn't do. Just like if this group goes in there, it's going to be trouble. Why? Because Washington, D.C. is a corporation, and that corporation has corporate rules that runs Washington, D.C., that dictates to United States of America. Now, you can't get no clearer than that, Ben. Betty Taylor, are you out there? Go ahead.
So the Pope created this mess, but now it got out of control. They took it to a whole different level now.
All right, if you want to say that, I can agree with it, and that's why he created G.A.R, the Grand Army of the Republic, and that's why he's telling them he set up this Jade Helm, and he's going to whoop them in line because he's already told them in 2013. He told them in 2013, and had everyone followed his lead, he wouldn't have to come to America and run that mess he was running. Why? Because he called it a Jubilee. Now, they tell me that biblically speaking, Jubilee is an international bankruptcy that everyone is entitled to, which means you start all over. Now, have you ever heard that?
Yeah. Wasn't that back in 2013 or something?
Yeah. But have you heard of the definition?
I think that it's the Shemitah is where they erase everything and then start all over, as far as, because the Shemitah is like every 7 years. And that's where the concept of, remember how it used to be when you had something on your credit report? Well, after 7 years, it would fall off automatically. And that's because it was coincided with the Shemitah year, which is called the year of release. Now, the Jubilee happens every 50 years.
Oh, okay. Now, how do you spell? Okay, how do you spell that Sharit or whatever you call it?
Shemitah.
Give me
S-M-I.
S-M-I.
T-T-A-H.
T-T-A-H?
Yeah.
Say it again. S-M-I.
T-T-A-H.
All right. I ain't never heard of that word. I'm gonna, I'm gonna look it up. Yep. Okay.
Surely.
Well, anyway, I'm on target because that 2013 he came in July, and they gave a date of October the 13th, I think it was, that they were supposed to write off all of the debt, all the corporations.
Mm-hmm.
And I would assume some did, but we all know that these dirty heart punks over here didn't do it. Now we're going back to what I said earlier, and that is this. They could have written off the debt. Mm-hmm. Because, listen to this, when Obama came up and Bush came up with that, I just had it on my tongue, start with an S, when they gave up all that money, the stimulus package. Remember that?
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
It was a couple of $1 trillion they gave away. With that, they were supposed to write off everybody's debt. Now, I'll say this, and Betty, you have to agree with me. They may have written it off, but they didn't tell nobody, and everybody kept paying.
Right.
Am I right?
Absolutely. That's what I think has happened.
That sounds like
that's what I think has happened. Yes.
And they're saying you can't make me tell them because I ain't I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I got the money and nobody has acknowledged. See, that's another fault that black folks have. They'll say things like, "Well, the judge knew that the baby was mine because it looked like me." No, he didn't. I didn't give a damn if he was a twin. If you didn't say it, he don't have a right to recognize it. It has to be acknowledged, and it's best to be acknowledged on paper. This is my baby, or something like that. I just jumped and got that real quick. But a lot of people always say, well, The judge ain't stupid. He saw what went on, blah, 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 that type of thing. Like if he's looking at a robbery and you never say that person that guy took was yours, what the judge going to do? He got to hear it from you. He took my purse. Get him. Get that guy. That type of thing. So we are looking at all the things, not only the stimulus package. Black folks look at everything and assume that it's either good for them or whatever, but they assume that it's going to be done right. And 99.9% of the time, it is not done right because you never acknowledged it, never said it.
You know what, Ron? I'm sorry. I spelled Shemitah wrong. It's a S-H.
Okay, S-H-I-T-E.
No, did I say S-H-E? S-H-E-M-I-T-A-H. I've seen it, but see, they spell it different. I have seen it with two T's. I've been doing this stuff for 12 years, and I've seen it written with two T's before. So it's what I'm pulling up is S-H-E-M-I-T-A-H.
Okay. Well, let me just say I ain't never heard of it. I thought that was Jubilee. That's every 7 years you have a right off.
Yeah. Jubilee is Shemitah is 7 years and Jubilee is 50 years. And as a matter of fact, we're leading up into a Jubilee season. I believe it is. I want to say 2017. The end of 16 going into 17 is the Jubilee year. Huh?
All right. What's supposed to happen in Jubilee year? I mean,
they're supposed to write off the debts every 7 years. That's why, when in the scriptures, when who was he trying to get Rachel? Who was that? Jacob trying to get Rachel, and he had to work for 7 years. Then he didn't get Rachel. He got the other one, and then he had to go with 7 more years. Yeah, that number 7 is it's supposed to be spiritual completion is what the number 7 means. So that's spiritual completion and whatever other kind of completion. That's why they are supposed to release the debts every 7 years. But the Jubilee is supposed to be a bigger version of that.
Oh, okay. And someone in the chat room, Ron, said that Sharika, how you pronounce it again, Betty?
Shemitah.
Shamika is a Hebrew word, and it means release.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm learning because like I told you, I thought Jubilee was every 7 years. But anyway, the Pope came on the 2013 and he announced it. And I am sure that it didn't work out the way he wanted it to, knowing these cutthroats over here. I know they didn't do it. But they can stand on their rights of corporate law because the money was there for you, but nobody asked for it. That's deep. So we got to start standing up. That's what I meant by knowing how to be free. You got to announce that you're free. You can't take it for granted. He looking at me, he knew I was black. No, he didn't. He ain't got to do that. No. You're a 14th Amendment citizen. If you don't say you are not, you are. Because he gave you ample time to denounce it, and you never did. And you got people today will fight you because we know, Beverly, we had that Dr. Feelgood that called in, Dr. Gatlin. And he was fighting that he was, I ain't no 14. Yeah. I can tell he was 14th Amendment. Or he never would have been a police officer. They never would have put him on with that crap. So anyway, that kind of answers your question, and that's just one sentence. Beverly, that's just one sentence.
Right.
And it says the following, it follows that the Roman Curia is responsible for the proper functioning of all corporations worldwide. That's deep. And then it says, as of September 1, 2013, Pope Francis declared all corporations and corporate officers fully liable for their errors and omissions. And that's when he was here in Detroit, not him, but that's when the people were here from the Vatican, and they put that word out, and the corporation was put on notice back in 2013.
You talking about McBride, Ron?
Yeah. And we don't really know what happened.
I don't know what happened with him, but I saw him. Excuse me, I saw him on 2020. I want to say to a couple years or some time prior to him coming here, when he was talking about, they interviewed him, because what he said was that because of all this paperwork that he had filed with the Vatican, and so they gave him the chair of St. Peter. The Roman Curia gave him the chair of St. Peter, the seal of St. Peter as well. And so when 2020 interviewed him, he showed it to them. So, in my mind, the St. Peter, they Catholics, that's who they revere and everything. So that's where the seat of power is, I guess, on the private side, I would imagine, because, the Pope is just a figurehead. And, just like the president, and our behind the scenes is what really, where the power really is. And so, so I don't understand, if that man went on television like that and showed it, what happened that, he ran into all these difficulties?
Well, we were told of I was told of the difficulty, and I know that they were harassing him. Now, the end result was, I heard this year, within this month, that he's serving time on a big stretch. But it was unrelated to what he was doing. It had something to do with something else. But, that doesn't really matter to me because they lie so damn much.
Sure,
and they cover
absolutely.
up, and they do things that, just like Bev asked a question before you came on. I forgot what it was, but I told her that my answer was, they will sell you anything. They'll sell you any bag of goods to try to get your mind either away from where you are or at least turn your thoughts around that what you're dealing with is no good. And they are pros at doing that.
Yeah,
so
because
really
Rob told me that they were they had incarcerated him on some charges that he had already been cleared on.
Yep, I heard that.
And they came back, and that's that when he told me that, I was like, wow. And that took me to Dr. McAfee when they did that to him as well. He's the one who had the land patent on the Hudson building, and so when they imploded the building and everything, he was out of town on the highway. They those 3-letter people stopped him. I don't know where he was, Pennsylvania or somewhere, New Jersey, somewhere, and they stopped him. They arrested him. They incarcerated him for 2 years to keep him away from what they were doing down at the Hudson building because he had that land patent.
Whoa. I know who you're talking about. Unbelievable. Well, no, it ain't.
Right. On some charges he had already been cleared on. They held him for 2 years.
And then they probably said that they were sorry it was a mistake or something crazy. So they didn't put themselves into the position of, being sued. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that broke him. I saw him afterwards. After that, and he was, to me, very broken. Now, whether he was or not, it's just my perception of it. But that's what I saw.
But now that you have, go ahead. What you got, Beverly?
someone in the chat room says that the new Jubilee will begin on this year Catholic Feast of the Immaculate Conception, celebrated December the 8th. It will close on November the 20th, 2016. The day celebrates that year as the Feast of the Christ the King.
Wow. Okay.
I think that's the Christian perspective of it, but I think that the Hebrew is, because that's where all the canon, what do you call those laws? Anyway, that's what like the UCC and all that is built on Hebrew stuff, and I believe there's a different time period for the Jubilee in the Hebrew understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a caller too, Ron. You want to take this call?
All right. Yes.
Okay. Area code 314-761.
Hey, peace and love.
Peace and love.
Can you hear me?
Zaire.
This is Zaire. How you doing?
Good. Great.
Well, I guess I add from my studies of what I have found that I guess you guys will find very interesting why the Pope is really, really here.
Thank you.
The Pope is really here to liquidate. He's to liquidate the assets of all our accounts through the birth certificate, number one. It's called the Motu Proprio.
Oh,
you find out
the
Motu Proprio is.
Could you spell that?
Spell that.
That's
Can you
M-O-T-U, Motu Proprio, P-O-P-R-I-O.
Wait, say that again. P like in Paul.
P-R-O-P-R-I-O. I'm sorry. Motu Proprio. That is the highest level legal documentation that supersedes any other form of documentation that the Pope has. That's his edict. And that word also means the acronym Master of the Universe. It also means a colloquial landlord. It also means Maori or Moor or indigenous groups also.
Spell that P word again. Spell that P word again.
P-R-O-P-R-I-O.
Okay.
And proprio means one's own initiative. And when those words are joined together, legally they ultimately mean prosecutorial independence. And that represents the debt of the 18 million. The 18 million that's in debt represents the 666, okay? So that's why he's coming here with the super moon, the blood moon, and all the moons. They coming in at a synchronicity time because they reading the higher levels of grand knowledge.
Yeah.
So what they're doing when they have distractions such as different leaders that put out things like justice or else, when you go and look at the titles, what people push out there like justice or else, you go and look up the etymology, the esoteric and the metaphysics of it so you can understand the true meaning of the grammar that these people are using, because remember, they're commercial heads. So when you do that, you'll find out justice doesn't mean exactly what it means. So what I'm doing, I'm looking for it right now. And I'm going to read it to you what justice means so we can have an idea how we get duped so dearly on this stuff and we're not seeing the path clearly when the word is right in front of us. So I'm trying to find it now. Sorry about that.
Zaire. Justice or else came from Farrakhan. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it now. And I'm trying to find it. I'm so sorry. But what he was talking about, when you look up the word justice, the word justice was actually created by Caesar. So it says here, we come now to justice. A specific habit differs from a specific faculty or science as each of the latter covers opposites, e.g., the science of health is also the science of sickness, whereas the habit of justice does not cover but is opposed to the habit of injustice. Justice itself is a term used in various senses, and the senses in which injustice is used vary correspondingly. The word was created by Aristotle in 350 B.C. You see, this is what's going on. It gets deeper. You'll find out the word. I found out in philosophical grammar and etymology, in this book called Philosophical Grammar and Etymology, you'll find out else and or mean the same thing, just like other. And if the word means, it goes back to the word called alter, A-L-T-E-R. So when he says justice or else, he's actually saying Jesus alter, because Jesus represents justice. Check that out. These are the messages that we're supposed to see.
All right.
Yeah.
I knew.
Right. Well, that's all I like to share.
Okay, so he came here to liquidate the what with the birth certificates again?
To liquidate all the assets. Remember, we're in $18 million in debt, and remember they don't have no more. They don't even have any more lives to give no more. They ran out. It ran out. You got to pay attention to the signs of the times. You already had a black president. You have nothing else really no more. You have nothing to throw us off no more.
Right.
So they got to use every distraction possible. They killed over 30 holistic doctors in the last year. Do people know about that?
I heard about it.
Yeah. So they doing the sacrifice what you call Jason in the month of from July to November. They usually do the athlete and stars like that, but now they're doing more important people that's on the underground finding out his knowledge.
Whoa. All right, brother.
All right, thank you for that information.
Yep. All right, you hold on, Bev. I got one. Area code 321. Area code 321-9763. You have a question or comment?
Hey, how y'all doing today? This evening,
right.
brother.
We're good, brother. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, man.
Yeah,
hanging in there. Hey, man, I so appreciate y'all bringing this knowledge because I'm learning a lot, and I have been. I have been listening to you for a while, but my question is more on going toward my elderly people, my people that are sick, and they on meds, whatever they trying to get off, but when you get sick, you sort of stuck in that. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning this from my grandma and all that stuff, because they never were told this. They never were told this stuff. So I'm like, once they do this kind of thing, what if the Caucasians or the Europeans cut off their meds and all that stuff because they need to do it? You know what I'm saying? They need to clear their well, really it ain't really their birth certificate. They didn't know no better. Then most of us didn't know no better. We didn't know like this really hurt my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like we in this thing, man. We didn't even know. Man. And it's got me like I got babies, man. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of my homies got babies.
I got an answer for you. Number one.
Yes, sir.
Our grandparents. Now I'm 75, so I know I sound. Oh, you sound younger than me, so I'm going to say you're younger. So I'm 75.
Yes, sir.
My grandparents had their own remedies. They didn't go to the doctor. They had their own remedies. The European came in with television and radio and music and switched and setting up these different medical associations, and they shut down all of the the stuff that Granny used to do. You need to go to a health food store right now and go in there with the disease or the ailment of your people that you're concerned about and start asking questions as to what, how, and should they use this. Now, I can tell you this. and this is a fact, and anybody can stop me on this. Betty, you could definitely check me, and Beverly too. It will not harm you to take natural medication. It won't harm you, and you don't want to stop taking your. It won't. You don't want to stop taking your other bit, but the doctor's going to realize that things are getting better, and he's going to ask them, "What you doing? You getting well? All that." Tell them to keep their mouth shut, because once that doctor figures out that they're doing some health stuff, he's going to try to do something to get rid of them, because he can make more money getting rid of them than he can working with them. So you got an assignment, and you are concerned. You sound very, very serious, and I agree with you. You need to start tapping into that health food. Find out what their disease is, and then go to the health food store and say, I got old granny. She's suffering from this, and this, whatever. And let them tell you what to do. And don't stop at one place, go to another place. Yep, go ahead.
Also, it's very important that we change our eating habits, because a lot of these diseases have come upon us because, we're eating things that are unclean, eating the swine and, all that other kind of stuff, and like as far as the, people love the shellfish, the shrimp and all that stuff, but those are, bottom feeders, and they were created to clean the seas. Now, when you cook a shrimp, or the lobster or the crab, that flesh is white, and that's because it's actually pus. Because that we're eating, when it's cooked, then it's pus, and so it's solidified. So just think about, those people who got swept away in Katrina, how, of course they went down into the seas, and and that's what those crustaceans they fed on those, and then we turn around and we eat it. That is we eating dead people. But you really have to be concerned about changing your eating habits, because with all the preservatives, our food has no nutritional value. So, we got to go back to the basics. As Ron says, we got to go back to grandma. We got to have our garden. We got to
and we also need to quit and don't drink milk, because you drinking pus, just like she said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was saying, I know about the milk thing. I don't. I give my babies almond milk. I don't even really feel safe giving them the almond milk, because I don't really know what I don't know where it come from, but it's better than the cow milk. I know that, and and my other thing is I wanted to say, somebody told me, I don't know if it's true or not, but somebody told me this. I was talking to this Caucasian dude. I was sitting down chopping it up with him. And he was saying things, about the United States used to be cut into like when you take the United States and you put it in front of you, you put the cross in it, and it was sectioned off in the fours. And I don't know what North America rather, and you section it off in fours. And he was like, he was talking about how it was back then. I was like, well, I already know about that, because you said, you got to study the 5 civilized tribes and all that stuff. You started understanding that stuff. But he started talking about Mexico. He said that the borders are open in Mexico for anybody that want to come through. And I found that interesting. You know what I'm saying? He was telling me that. And I was saying, I mean, he was telling me about some more stuff. I can't. It really slipped my mind right now. But he was. Oh yeah, he said this Spanish cat that was over. He was in prison. It was on the news. They had broke him out of prison, but they did it through a tunneling system. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was on the news, but he said that they spent over 6 million notes to do that. You know what I'm saying? Just to do that. Like he was saying, like, those are nationalists over there. He said it's another lady over there. She she's somebody big, whatever. Like I don't know what she do. But all I'm saying is, he said that they took some of their officials, and she hung them. That's what he was telling me. You know what I'm saying? She hung them because, they doing over there what they doing over here, like with the corporation and stuff.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised?
No, I ain't surprised. Cause I wasn't surprised, but I was like, it sort of flashlight sort of came on in my head, man. It's like, this real, man. It's gonna be some stuff happening. Like I be trying to get my mom to listen to me, but she ain't trying to hear it.
Yeah, forget that. You gotta go with like minds, and you gotta show her that what you saying is true by living the life of freedom.
Absolutely.
And then she'll come for you. Yep. You ain't gonna be able to change nobody's mind. I gave that up a long time ago. I just lay out what I do, and if you like what you see, you can come and get some of it. If you don't, you keep on stepping. I don't care. I really feel better.
Yeah, she has to be shown by example.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Because the mindset, I mean, we were told all these mistruths and lies from the time we were, we could understand anything. So for most people to, grasp this understanding, it's really hard for them. And so, they have to be shown by example what the real deal is. And it's just a matter of the people that are like-minded being diligent in this pursuit and just moving forward, because it's by the end of this year it's supposed to be some deep stuff going down.
Now what's to become of our baby? What's to become of our babies? Like now in my head, I done chopped up the math. All of us ain't gonna do this, and all of us ain't gonna and I'm pretty sure if all of us knew, they would do it, but a lot of us don't know. And some of us are so zombie out, man. Mm-hmm. When I see, I'm looking at people that look like me, and I'm like, man, yeah, something ain't right about you, man. You ain't listening to nothing. You want to play the Xbox. You want to go keep BSing off, man. I'm trying to tell you some real stuff, man. And I'm tired of looking stupid. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I ain't looking stupid, but I'm tired of them thinking they'll say, oh man, that's deep, bro. But then it'd be like somebody you can see the spirit.
Hold it. Let me interject. I told you earlier, you got to lead, and we're saying you got to lead by example. That's number one. Once you lock in on your grandparents, old folks, and then go and get the stuff, and then talk to them. Don't try to force it. Just talk to them. Tell them like you're telling us. Things are going to get worse. So this is not going to hurt you, and it can only make you better. So just try it. Don't stop taking your regular stuff. That's one thing. Second thing, the children. You take the children because the children are babies. You got to save them babies. Now, them older dudes and ladies, stop arguing with them. Once they see that you are serious and quit doing all the talking and doing more doing than talking, they will begin to lean toward you and say, well, that brother might have something. So what are we going to lose by just listening to him or getting prepared for it? You dig it? So stop. Quit worrying about them. You worry about yourself and those that you love. And you tell the ones you love, babies, you take them. Granny, you're going to work with Granny. But them ones your age, you tell them a couple of times, you lead them to the water and say, there it is. If they don't drink, it ain't your fault. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. If they don't want to do it, you can't force them. Because now you're going to get off path and lose Granny and the baby. So stop talking like you got a mission to save everybody. You can't save everybody, brother.
I don't want to save everybody, brother. I don't want. I do, but I understand. I understand.
All right. Sure. Well, we got a couple more callers. Okay. We got to move on.
All right. Thanks for the time. All right.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you. Ben, I got another one unless you got one. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just had that someone in the chat room was saying that they were wondering, they said a couple of weeks ago they got a letter from the IRS and it was in all caps. And just the other day they got another letter and it was in the upper and lower case. They wondering, are they trying to get rid of the straw man?
No. They cannot. United States cannot operate. There will be no United States if the straw man disappears. You cannot function in the United States without a straw man. Now, you can call that straw man whatever you want, but if you stop getting it in capital letters and they start doing what's right, United States will disappear. It will dissolve. It's built on all caps. Ask the FBI, CIA, and NSA. They all came from the New Deal. Straw man came from the New Deal. H.A.R. 192 redeems you, tell you how you can get out from under that crap. So it doesn't matter, because they have different ways of putting your name. You know, your real name, listen to this. Your real name, as far as the government is concerned, is, like my name is Ron March. My real name, as far as the government is concerned, is March, semicolon, Ronald L. And any derivatives thereof. Now, if you don't believe me, look up derivatives. It can be spelled big. You can have every other letter big and little, big and little. It don't matter. It don't matter. If they don't, when they say March Ronald L is your name, and that's what they call you in the military. And a lot of documents, like your passport, it says March Ronald L. You can't get around it. And when you look it up, it'll say, and any derivative of. That means any way you spell it, we got you. You are a straw man. Now, the only way to get out of 100 is to break the contract. And you break the contract by authenticating your birth certificate. Go ahead.
Now, somebody else is saying that the president of China and his wife were here during the same time that the Pope. And they met with the president at a big dinner at the White House with all the major high-tech corporations. And they're saying that they were taking care of the real business while the Pope was a distraction. They were in Seattle, New York, and other parts of the country. And they the ones that own the birth certificates in the gold. That's what they're saying.
Okay. I don't have a problem with it. Because all they did was when they created the Cisco account, they created a paper, a straw man, but they sold that paper and created a negotiable instrument, and they sold that negotiable instrument on the stock market. China purchased, I think, it's up to about 65% of all in negotiable instruments is owned and controlled by China. That ain't nothing new. That's why the United States don't talk bad about China. And whatever China says, it works. And don't forget, I told y'all in 1982, when all of this madness came down the pike in regards to layoffs, stimulus package, and a whole lot of stuff like that, I'm talking about 1982, when they had the first downfall. China told them, y'all going to make this money right, or we're going to blow the United States off the map. And they came up with real money and paid China. And they've been paying China the interest rates ever since. They never pay the principal. They just pay them the interest rate so that they don't get behind.
But remember, Ron, but remember back in the early 2000s, I'm not really sure, there was, and I saw them on, I think it was C-SPAN I was watching, and they had, they were saying that, China, it was time to pay China, so I guess they were asking for the principal at the time, but they were saying that it was time to pay China, and China did not want fiat. They wanted gold. So right after then is when they started with this, bring us your gold, bring us your gold, bring us your gold. And I was trying to tell the people, don't be giving your gold away, but people just, they just turn in their, the gold for that fiat money, and it was really sad to me.
Yes. And they created, with that gold, they created that thing called a marrow. And the marrow is more of, I don't know if I want to call it more legit, but it's got something to back it up. What the American dollar, there's nothing to back up the American dollar but our sweat from our brow. That's all that backs it up. So when the economy goes bad, everything on earth goes bad because we can't make payments on anything. And if you can't make payments, the earth suffers. And that's what the earth is doing right now. And they're trying to readjust it, and they can't readjust it because they done tried every damn thing, just like the brother said earlier. They done tried every damn thing to make it work, and it can't work. So now they call the Pope out. You got to tell them corporations to back off because we can't keep this going because they're strangling the people, and they can't purchase. So how you going to have Christmas and New Year's, and they looking for you to show up, and you can't come because you don't have a job? And you don't have a job because the corporation is moving out of the United States, going to China, Mexico, and China, and all that kind of stuff. All of that's connected, y'all. It's all connected. And Obama's a part of it. Clinton's a part of it. They came up with all them treaties, NAFTA, all that crazy crap. All of that madness is a part of the earth being strangled by corporations. And
those trade agreements.
Those treaty agreements, yes. And the Pope says this madness got to stop or you're going to knock the Catholic Church out. We know we through, but you're going to knock us out. And I got an article right here that the corporations have come down and start foreclosure on churches. You never heard of a church going out of business, put a sign up for sale on a church. They got 3,000 of them in America already that they behind in their payments. And they're going to foreclose on them now.
So since it was two different meetings going on here with China and with the Pope, so do you feel like that the corporations are rebelling against the Pope?
Yes. I have to laugh, Beth. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. The American corporation told the Pope to kiss it where the sun don't shine. That's what they said. And they backed it up with we're following the law. And listen to this. I forgot about this. Go online and put in Chase Bank suicides. Since 13, 14, and 15, there's been close to double-digit suicides of high corporate banksters in the Chase Manhattan group. And they doing silly shit, like go up on the 20th floor and fell out the window. Who ever heard of such madness? Go fishing in the middle of the ocean in a little bitty boat, and the boat turned over. They've been murdered. Y'all look it up. Yeah. I ain't gonna say no more. Y'all look it up. I think I talked to you. You and I talked about that, Betty. That there were so many suicides was going on.
Right. Ron, do you have another call? Because I got a call.
Yes, I got another call. I got one. Area code 313-0056. Are you there? You've been holding on. Area code 313, last 40056. Do you have a question or comment? Okay, go ahead, Beth.
Okay, now before I take this caller, I just want everybody to know that Robert X is okay. I got a text from him while we were doing the show. Okay, this is a call from 908-644. 908-644.
Hello, family. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Yep.
Hello, Ron. I'm called. I want to find out. I have some lawsuits, like 8 of them at one time, and they should be settled within the next 6 months. I wanted to find out if when it comes time to take the settlement, can I ask for real money, or do I just have to take what they give me to pay out money?
Well, I'll just say it this way. You play that by ear because six lawsuits is a hell of a load for anybody. So play it by ear.
Yes, 8 of them.
Okay, 8 of them. That's a hell of a load. And you don't want to have them stalling if you need the money. You don't want them to wait another 5 or 10 years before they pay because they got to put it in real money. But you can definitely ask for it. But see, the courts is going to, I don't know how your lawsuit is. I don't know that much on how that lawsuit works. Because you should be asking you could be. It's a what?
It's a car accident. It's a car accident where my car flipped over. The car ran through the light. My car flipped over. The other one is a slip and fall on some dry ice. And both of them I had head trauma.
Oh.
So what he did is he sued the companies that I was working for at the time I got hurt because I was working.
Right. It sound like did you have a mouthpiece? Did you have an attorney?
Yes, that's what the attorney did. Yes, I have an attorney. He was the one who filed for the other 6 lawsuits.
Okay.
I only filed for 2, but he filed for 6 on the other one.
Okay. Well, then ask him, and then play it by ear. Just ask in a negative way, and see if he would be interested. Because he could also turn against you. You know, his allegiance is not to you; it's to that money that you gonna get. So you got to be careful.
Right.
You have to be careful. That's why I say play it by ear. But I would get it and get the checks and then go to the bank after it's all over. When you deposit it, tell them you want real money from the bank. Forget what they say.
That's what I was
in
thinking too. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds better to tell the bank that I want real money.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work. And do it. Don't be. Don't take all of them in there at once. If you got big old money, you don't want to take it all in there. Take a little bit here and see what happens, and then you'll know how to play it with the other.
I wanted to take it to a black bank. I wanted to take it to a black-owned bank.
Well, sister, let's
well,
be
you
real
probably
now.
need to talk to a financial person too, so you kind of know what you're doing a little bit.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
You want to do that, but don't try to get black all of a sudden because you got all that money. You might fool around and lose all that money fooling around with all that stuff. You can do more if you go ahead and get the money.
I was just going to say, no, I'm not, because once I get it, I want to come up there and connect with you and sit down with you and if you allow me to, and try to work through that. You know what.
Betty, did you hear that?
What'd you say?
I asked you, did you hear what she said?
Yeah. I did.
All right. Well, just stay low. Email me, and we'll talk about it off the air, and we'll do it through an email. RonMarchShow@yahoo.com. Okay?
Okay, I gotta go. I think my daughter getting ready to have a baby now. I gotta go.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Congratulations. All right. Okay. All righty. All right.
Okay, Ron.
You about ready to go? Yes. I got another caller.
Okay.
I think I do. 205-1187. Are you out there? Caller 205, area code, last 4, 1187. Are you out there? All righty. Go ahead, Bev. I don't have it.
Well, that's it for over here, and we are out of time. I mean, the people can hear us that's on the phone.
Yeah. All right. Well, we done covered almost everything. We done lit them up because the lines started jumping. So we did pretty good, I think. And so we just need to do more research, stay involved, and don't forget Sunday, October the 4th, for all of you new people out there, I had a couple of calls today. They're new folks. You can go to ronmarch.com. On the home page, you have to purchase a ticket. The donation is $20. It's going to be on the west side, Detroit. So you need to go there and purchase your ticket and show up, and we're going to answer all your questions and critique. First, we're going to critique the seminar, then we'll answer all your questions. So until then, Betty, you have any closing?
Ron.
Yeah. Yes.
I think I got someone else. It's 843-610.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
you just
greetings.
made it in. Greetings.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you. I really appreciate you, Bev. I think this question is important. From what that brother said earlier about that, the thing with the words with the P's, as far as the Pope coming here to get those straw man contracts, to get the money behind that, doesn't that speak to the bankruptcy of this country? Because from what I've been seeing, I haven't done a lot of research, but basically from what I've been seeing, since the 1100s, they've been striving to bankrupt this country. You know, the Vatican and England, and I've heard people say that China is on the charter for the United States. Also, that's another reason why they used China labor to build the railroad, even though they used opium to control the people. But overall, and it's evident that, you know, China is a superpower now, and I think that's partly the reason why and why they brought so many things over here. It's interesting that I think I've heard two people say that China came here to do the same thing that the Vatican is doing. So I don't know how the so-called Jewish people play into that paradigm, but what do you say about that, Ron? About the Pope, what he read in reference to.
Yeah. Well, United States was out of bankruptcy. I saw it today. In 2013, they were cleared of bankruptcy. So they really owe all of us all of that money, all of that information that brother had. They owe us because they're out of bankruptcy. Okay? But the problem is, do we know how to ask for it? That's the problem. Now, as far as China being a part of this, I never heard that, but it doesn't surprise me because I know China is a part of all of the major associations around the world. China is a key player, such as United Nations, the World Court, and whatever, IMF, all of that. China's right in there. It's one of the largest powers on earth, the four largest powers. England's not in and the Pope's not in, but they control the people and the money. So we got a little game going here. Who's on first and whatchamajigger's on second, that type of thing. So I can agree with you, but let's all keep looking and reading, because now that we done open up our minds to this thing, and you hear the calls coming in, because I've been laying on my information for a good 6 months to a year, and the more I listen and deal with it and talk about it, the more it becomes a reality to me. So I hear that in some of the callers that called, and even in your call, you're bringing in some new information. So let's just keep working with it and modify it and keep calling in, and we're going to get to the bottom of this madness. Because knowledge is power.
Yes, indeed.
All we need is not knowledge. We ain't got to worry about no machine guns and hand grenades. We don't need all that. As long as we get our head on right, buddy, we on our way. All right?
Mind over matter. You're right, brother. I appreciate you both.
Thank you, caller.
Right.
We appreciate you.
Thank you, Bev.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Front room.
Okay,